This is a sports catastrophe production. Hey there, hello there, hello there. It's Jeff Cutter, and I'm welcoming you to another sports catastrophe birthday boy. And this birthday boy has pissed me off by leaving the Toronto Raptors when the going was good and going to Orlando. Really, Orlando? And then he went to Houston. I think that's where the only three teams he played for in the NBA. Oh no, he played for many teams. After Houston, he was a vagabond, if you will. So anyway, Tracy McGrady is 42 years old. He is a seven-time All-Star, two-time NBA scoring champion, now with the Raptors, and actually won the Most Improved Player of the Year award. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2017. He entered the NBA straight out of high school and was picked by the Raptors ninth in 1997, which was a very good draft, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. But anyway, beginning his career as a low-minute player, he actually improved his role with the Raptors, forming a duo with his cousin Vince Carter. In 2000, he left Toronto for Orlando when he was where he became one of the most prolific scorers. And then he was traded to Houston in 2004, paired with Yao Ming to help the Rockets do well. But of course, injuries ruined his final seasons. He's been a basketball analyst for ESPN, and he actually pitched in the Atlantic League of Baseball. So he wanted to play professional baseball. So he was born in Florida. He considered playing at the University of Kentucky, but he decided, why not just go into the draft? Which would have been weird because Tracy McGrady, if he played for that 98 Kentucky team, would have won a national title. So anyway, everyone knew that Tim Duncan was the prime player, and San Antonio ended up getting him in the draft lottery. Second overall went to Philly, and they took Keith Van Horn from Utah. Good move, but Keith Van Horn was more of a Nets star than a Sixer star. Boston took Chauncey Billups from Colorado. It was weird how Boston decided to go with Chauncey Billups, and then they decided to package him to Toronto in some kind of trade. Boston and Toronto both would suffer as Billups ended up being the unlikely NBA Finals MVP in 2004 for the Pistons when they won the title. Vancouver went fourth and took Antonio Daniels from Bowling Green. Antonio Daniels? Really? Vancouver, you just keep messing things up. Denver picked fifth and took Tony Battie from Texas Tech Center, who is more known for a Celtic. Boston got another first-round pick in a trade from Dallas, so they went with Ron Mercer from Kentucky. I'm like, what? The Nets went seventh, pick Tim Thomas from Villanova, who would be better known as a Milwaukee Buck legend. And then Golden State took Adano Foyle from Colgate, a center. Great. But then the Raptors took Tracy McGrady, and it ended up being one of the best moves around. And all that. The 97 draft was just terrible. I mean, the amount of all-stars for one all-star game was little. There was only 3 people who went to an all-star game from that 97 draft? Yeah, from that 97 draft, it was Duncan, Billups, and Tracy McGrady. What a pathetic group. Austin Crowsher was a good pick by Indiana. But basically, the 97 draft was one of the worst for talent. So anyway, he didn't get a lot of playing time. He actually felt lonely in Toronto and slept up to 20 hours a day. After Darrell Walker resigned from the Raptors as head coach, Butch Carter was put in, and McGrady started to play more. Basically, he told McGrady, I will increase your minutes, but you have to improve your work ethic. And he did. And before the 98-99 season, the Raptors drafted McGrady's distant cousin Vince Carter. Well, there was a family reunion, I think, of McGrady's things, and then one of his aunts told him that he and Vince Carter were related. Well, the Raptors didn't draft Vince Carter technically. It was Golden State. Toronto drafted Anton Jamison, but they basically swapped Jamison for Carter. And it was a good win-win because Jamison was a good player for Golden State and Carter for the Raptors. So, yeah, they were inseparable and all that. And they both gave good performances at the slam dunk contest. Yes, we all know about Vince Carter's 2000 slam dunk contest and being one of the best ever. But But Tracy McGrady did pretty well. He took third. Well, given the fact that the other three dunkers who didn't qualify for the three-person final were just shit. Steve Francis wasn't shit. He took second. McGrady was a contender for Sixth Man of the Year and all that before being elevated to the backcourt in late March. Behind McGrady and Carter's play, the Raptors got to the playoffs for the first time ever, 45-37. Unfortunately, they were swept by the New York Knicks. But revenge would come the next year for the Raptors. Unfortunately, not with T-Mac. T-Mac was a free agent, and he signed a 6-year contract with Orlando for $67 million, like $11 million a year. Yikes. He elected to join Orlando because he didn't like his secondary role behind his distant cousin Vince Carter, and also in part because he wanted to go back to Florida, his home state. Fair enough, I guess. McGrady wanted to play with new teammate Grant Hill, but Grant Hill would suffer injuries up the yin yang, and basically it was all McGrady's team for Orlando. He would actually basically defy expectations and all that. He was a good talent and all that. Orlando got to the playoffs in McGrady's first year, but Milwaukee took him out in 4 games. So yeah, but basically he liked the All-Star game. He was basically Orlando's top players and all that. Unfortunately, Tracy McGrady's mouth got him in trouble in 2003. After Orlando took a 3-1 series lead on the Pistons in the first round, he basically said that it was good to get to the second round. Unfortunately, the first round took 4 games. However, 2003 was the first playoff that the first round was a best of 7, not best of 5. So McGrady might have got his things mixed up. Did they not to say it takes 4 to win the first round this year instead of 3? Oh well. Unfortunately, McGrady had some issues and all that. McGrady did win back-to-back scoring titles in 03 and 04, but basically the team suffered. So Orlando decided to trade McGrady with Juwan Howard, Tyronn Lue, and nobody by the name of Reese Gaines to Houston for Steve Francis, Katina Mobley, and Kelvin Cato. McGrady actually was happy, saying that he would have the prospect of playing alongside Yao Ming and all that. Tracy McGrady would have one of the greatest single game performances of all time. In December of 04, against the San Antonio Spurs on TNT on a Thursday night in front of the U.S. national audience, he basically took it upon himself to score 13 points in the final 35 seconds. That's hard to believe. He had 4 3-pointers. And, of course, one was, and then a foul shot. It was amazing. Houston would rebound and would face Dallas in the first round. Unfortunately, Tracy McGrady sucked game 7 in 7. So he basically, sucked. McGrady would have injury spasms and all that. And that would ruin him out, basically, his later years with Houston. He was dealt to the Knicks in 2010. And then he would sign with the Pistons for 2011. Didn't do well. And then he got a 1-year contract with the Atlanta Hawks. Not doing so well. He decided to go to China. But then basically he did that at the conclusion of the Chinese basketball campaign. He signed with the Spurs, and he was allowed to play on the playoff roster. All that. He got to play for the 2013 Spurs, who actually went to the NBA Finals. So finally, he got an opportunity to play in the postseason outside the first round. So anyway, Tracy McGrady was good. He was known for his laid-back demeanor and scoring prowess and all that. But, of course, he's frequently criticized for not leading any team beyond the first round of the playoffs. Some say that he was just a victim of bad rosters and bad circumstances. And, of course, a lot of people question his leadership and effort level. All that. McGrady has 3 children with his wife. Layman, Chance, the first son, His three children. His first son was Lyman. But Tracy's younger brother, Chance McGrady, actually played for the 2008 Memphis Tigers, who went to the NCAA Finals and lost that fairly overtime game to Kansas. But in the annals of the NCAA record book, that game doesn't exist because Memphis got in trouble for recruiting violations and basically, yeah, it was terrible. McGrady played professional baseball in the Atlantic League. He actually started the Atlantic League All-Star game, and then he promptly retired. So in 938 games in the NBA, he got 19.6 points a game, 5.6 rebounds a game. Pretty good. He's got like 20 plus points, but basically injuries would cost him dearly, especially after 2009. In the NBA playoffs, he only played in 50 playoff games. He played 6 games for the 2013 Spurs that got to the final, but basically he didn't really play. In fact, he didn't even score 1 point in 30 minutes of basketball. Wow, not even a point. Pathetic. Even with that, he still had a 22-point average in the playoffs, mostly because he had 30 points per game for Orlando and Houston, carrying them on his back. Well, got to the Hall of Fame, 2-time scoring champion, 03, 04, All-Star from 2001 to 2007, and all that. Most improved player in 2001. His number was actually retired by the Chinese team he played for. I don't know why, but anyway, he has a lot of Orlando records, including points in a game. But anyway, yeah, T-Mac should have been much better if he stayed with Toronto. I think he would have been a massive part of the Raptors' resurgence. But that's just me. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.